Welcome to our deep dive today.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be cracking open MarkDouglas's Trading in the Zone
Mm-hmm.
and seeing what we can all learn about the psychology of trading success. You
Right.
know, a lot of people might find this really interesting
Yeah.
because Douglas's whole premise is that making money consistently in the market
Yeah.
isn't about like some super secret market analysis technique or anything like that.
Right.
It's all about
It's about your mindset.
cultivating a specific mindset.
Yes.
And that's kind of what we're going to be looking at today in
Well,
our deep dive.
That's what the book is all about.
Really fascinating.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating, I think, about Douglas's approach is that he really tackles this misconception I think a lot of people have,
Yeah.
that to succeed as a trader, you need to be able to predict the market.
Yeah, you have to know the future. You
Yeah.
have to know what's going to happen next.
And he actually argues that that pursuit of certainty can actually hold you back
Yes.
as a trader. Absolutely.
Okay, I've got to admit, that sounds a little counterintuitive to me.
I know.
How can you make money trading if you don't know what's going to happen next?
Well, it's a good question.
Like, how is that even possible?
It is, and it's a very common question.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense to think that if you want to make money in the market, you got to know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you got to be right.
You got to be right.
Yeah.
You got to predict it.
Yeah.
That's really not how it works.
Okay, so explain this then.
All right, well, think of it this way.
Okay.
Imagine you're flipping a coin, okay?
Yeah.
And it's a coin that's weighted in your favor just a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it comes up heads 60% of the time.
Okay, yeah.
You don't need to predict the outcome of each individual flip to know
Right.
that over time, you're likely to end up with more heads than tails.
Yeah.
Right?
That makes sense.
So
Yeah.
it's the same in trading.
Okay.
You find an edge,
Okay.
and you exploit that edge over and over again.
Okay, so are you saying that trading is basically like gambling
Well, just,
with
I'm hesitant to say that
slightly better odds?
it's not really gambling.
Okay.
It's more about recognizing that the market has an element of randomness to it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
But within that randomness,
Okay.
skilled traders can identify edges.
Okay.
Situations where the probability of a certain outcome is slightly higher.
Right.
It's not gambling because you're actually doing something to put the odds in your favor.
Okay.
Douglas calls this thinking in probabilities,
Okay.
and it's a crucial shift
Yeah.
for anyone looking for consistent trading success.
So instead of getting caught up in trying to be right all the time,
Yes,
you're focusing on consistently acting on those edges.
that's it.
Even though you know you're not going to win every single trade.
Exactly.
You're not going to win every flip of the coin.
Right. But you're going to come out ahead in the long run
Yeah.
because you've got that edge.
And that's where the psychology comes in. Because most traders, I think, would agree, get trapped by fear.
Oh, absolutely.
The fear of being wrong, the fear of losing money, the fear of missing out,
Fear of leaving money on the table.
or even leaving money on the table, yeah.
all of that.
And all these fears seem like totally rational fears.
They do.
But Douglas argues they actually lead to the very outcomes traders are trying to avoid.
Yes, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Can you give me an example of how that might play out in real life?
Sure.
Like, let's say I'm afraid of being wrong on a trade.
Okay.
How could that fear actually lead to me making bad decisions?
Well, if you're terrified of being wrong,
Yeah.
you might start to ignore warning signs in the market,
Okay.
right? You don't want to see the signs that you might be wrong.
Right.
You might bend your analysis to fit the outcome that you want.
Right.
So you're kind of fooling yourself.
Yeah.
You might hold on to losing trades longer than you should,
Oh, yeah.
hoping they'll turn around.
Yeah, hoping for a miracle.
Yeah, exactly. Or you might exit winning trades too early
Right.
because you're afraid of giving back your profits.
Yeah, you don't want to lose the money that you've already made.
Right. You want to lock it in,
Yeah.
but ultimately the fear distorts your perception
Right.
of the market and leads to poor decision making.
So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes.
The more you fear being wrong, the more likely you are to actually be wrong.
Exactly.
Because you're letting that fear drive your actions.
You're letting fear make your decisions for you.
Yeah, and that's why Douglas says that consistent winners
Right.
aren't necessarily fearless.
They're not superhuman.
They've just learned to accept risk as an inherent part of trading.
Yes, they've accepted that they can't control the market.
Right.
So they focus on what they can control,
Right.
which is their own actions and reactions.
And they don't let those fears
Yeah.
paralyze them
Right.
or cloud their judgment.
They acknowledge the fear, but they don't let it control them.
That makes sense.
Right.
It's like a seasoned surfer. you know? Right.
They don't try to control the ocean
Yeah.
or predict every wave.
Nope.
They respect its power.
Yeah.
They learn to read its patterns.
Mm-hmm.
And they ride the waves that align with their skill level.
That's a great analogy.
And just like a surfer who doesn't panic when they wipe out.
Yeah, they just get back on the board and try again.
Successful traders don't let losses derail them.
Right. They see losses as part of the game.
Right.
They view them as feedback,
Yeah.
as data points in a larger probabilistic framework.
Okay, so I'm starting to see how this probabilistic mindset is different from the way that I think most people
Yeah.
approach trading.
Most people are looking for certainty,
Yeah.
when really they should be embracing uncertainty.
You're not trying to predict the future or eliminate risk altogether.
No, you can't do that.
You're accepting that uncertainty and randomness are part of the game,
Part of the game.
and you're focusing on consistently acting on those edges that tip the odds slightly in your favor.
That's exactly. And when you can truly internalize that mindset, it can be incredibly freeing.
Yeah.
It takes the pressure off of needing to be right all the time.
Yeah.
And it allows you to approach the market, I think, with more objectivity and more calmness.
Absolutely.
So how does someone actually start to cultivate this mindset?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
That's the million-dollar question.
It sounds like a pretty radical shift
It is.
from the way most people think about trading.
It's a complete paradigm shift.
Yeah.
It is a shift, and it's not something that happens overnight.
Right.
You know, it's the process.
Yeah.
Douglas talks about it as a process of rewiring your brain
Yeah.
to think differently about the market.
And that rewiring starts with understanding some fundamental truths
Yes,
about the nature of trading.
about the nature of the market.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued now.
Okay.
What are these fundamental truths that Douglas says can help us rewire our brains for trading success?
We've already touched on the first one. Anything can happen in the market at any given moment.
Okay.
But he outlines 4 more
Okay.
that I think are worth exploring in more detail.
Well, all ears lay 'em on me.
All right, we'll get to those
Yeah.
right after the break.
Okay, so we left off with this idea that Douglas outlines 5 fundamental truths about trading.
Mm-hmm.
You said we already covered the first one.
We did.
Anything can happen in the market at any given moment.
Right.
So what's the second truth that can help us
Okay.
rewire our brains
Four.
for trading success?
Number 2.
Yeah.
You don't need to know what's going to happen next to make money.
Whoa. Tough one for a lot of people to swallow.
That might be even more surprising to some traders, I think,
I think so.
than the first one.
Yeah, because it really goes against the grain of what most people believe about trading.
Yeah, I could see how that would be a tough pill to swallow
It is.
for someone who's used to, like, you know.
Analyzing charts and indicators, trying to predict the market's every move.
Trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it almost feels like you're saying we should just throw our hands up and leave it all to chance.
It sounds that way,
Yeah.
but that's not what I'm saying at all.
Okay, good.
It's not about giving up on analysis or strategy.
Right.
It's about recognizing that even with the best analysis,
Yeah.
you can never be 100% certain
Right.
about what the market will do next.
Yeah, because there's always like unknown variables, unforeseen events, and even just random fluctuations.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
That can throw off your predictions.
Absolutely.
So how do we reconcile
Yeah.
that inherent uncertainty
That's the question.
with the need to have some kind of plan, some kind of edge in the market?
Right, because you can't just trade randomly.
Right.
You do need some kind of edge.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? Well, that's where the third and fourth fundamental truths come in.
Okay.
Okay, so the third truth is there is a random distribution between wins and losses
Okay.
for any given edge.
Okay.
And the fourth truth is
Yeah.
an edge is simply an indication of a higher probability
Okay.
of one thing happening over another.
Okay, let me see if I'm following this correctly.
Okay.
We're not trying to predict every single trade outcome.
Yeah.
But we are looking for situations
Exactly.
where the odds, based on our analysis and understanding of the market, are slightly in our favor.
That's it.
And even then,
Yeah.
we have to accept that we're not going to win every time.
Exactly. You got it.
Okay.
It's not about being right all the time.
Right.
It's about having a higher probability of being right
Yeah.
over the long run.
Think of it like a baseball player
Oh, yeah.
with a 300 batting average.
That's a good one.
That player is considered a top performer,
Top performer.
but they're still getting out 7 times out of 10.
Right. They're failing more often than they're succeeding.
Right. But the key is
Yeah.
they're consistently stepping up to the plate.
They keep swinging.
Yeah.
They don't give up.
Taking swings, trusting that their skill and their preparation will give them an edge over time.
Exactly. And they're okay with striking out.
Right.
Because they know they're going to hit a home run every now and then.
So it's not about being perfect.
Nope.
It's about being consistently good enough to come out ahead in the long run.
That's it.
All right. And that brings us, I think, to the fifth and final fundamental truth.
Right. Number 5.
Every moment in the market is unique.
Oh, this is a good one.
This might seem obvious, but I think a lot of traders fall into the trap of thinking that just because something worked in the past, it's guaranteed to work again in the future.
Right. If it worked once, it'll work again.
Yeah.
But that's not how the market works.
I can see how that would be tempting, though, especially if you've had a string of wins using a particular setup or strategy.
You think you've got it figured out.
Yeah, it's easy to start feeling overconfident and assume that you've cracked the code.
Yeah. The market has a way of humbling you when you start thinking like that.
Yeah.
Douglas emphasizes that past performance is never a guarantee of future results.
Every trade.
Every trade,
any market situation,
is a new opportunity.
Is a new opportunity.
And it needs to be approached with fresh eyes and a clear mind.
So these 5 fundamental truths are really about shifting our perspective from one of prediction and certainty to one of probability and acceptance.
Exactly.
It's about letting go of the need to control the market and instead focusing on controlling ourselves, our emotions,
our reactions, our decision-making process.
Yeah, that's a pretty powerful concept.
It is.
But it also sounds like a lot of mental work.
It is.
Do you think most traders
That's a good question.
are even capable
Are people even capable of this?
of making this kind of shift in their thinking?
Well, I think anyone is capable of it.
Okay.
But it does require a conscious effort.
Yeah.
And a willingness to challenge some deeply ingrained beliefs and habits.
Well, Douglas does provide
a
lot of practical tools and techniques in the book.
He does.
To help traders make this transition.
Lots of good stuff in there.
He even outlines a specific exercise
He does.
that he believes can help solidify these principles in a trader's mind.
Yeah, kind of like put it all together.
Okay. I'm definitely interested to hear more about that.
Okay.
What kind of exercise are we talking about?
He calls it the 20 trade challenge.
Okay.
And it's deceptively simple.
All right.
The goal is to take 20 consecutive trades.
Okay.
Using a system or strategy that you've defined in advance without deviating from your rules no matter what.
So it's not about making 20 winning trades in a row.
No, not at all.
It's about following your plan meticulously.
Exactly.
And resisting the urge to second-guess yourself.
Yes.
Or let your emotions take over.
That's the challenge because your emotions are going to be all over the place.
Right.
During those 20 trades, you're going to have winning trades. You're going to have losing trades.
Right.
And you're going to want to deviate from your plan.
Yeah.
But the key is to just stick with it.
So the real challenge is in monitoring your thoughts and feelings throughout the process.
It's a mindfulness exercise.
Right.
It's about being aware of your thoughts and feelings.
Every time you catch yourself doubting, hesitating, or feeling the urge to break your rules.
Right.
You bring your focus back to
those 5 fundamental truths.
Those 5 fundamental truths.
And the principles that you define for yourself.
It sounds almost like a mindfulness practice.
It is.
Where you're constantly observing your internal state and redirecting your attention when it starts to wander.
Exactly.
That's a great comparison.
That's a great way to think about it.
And the beauty of this exercise, I think, is that it helps you identify
It does.
those moments when your emotions are starting to influence your trading decisions.
Right.
So you can catch yourself.
You can catch yourself before you make a mistake.
Before you make a costly mistake.
Exactly.
So this 20 trade challenge is a way to practice those 5 fundamental truths in a real-world trading scenario.
In a real-world situation where there's actual money on the line.
And develop that probabilistic mindset.
Exactly.
We were talking about earlier.
It's all about developing that mindset.
It's about training your brain to think differently about the market.
To think in probability.
Yeah, to react calmly and rationally to both wins and losses.
Not to get too high or too low.
And to trust yourself to follow your plan.
Even when it's hard.
Even when the pressure is on.
Yeah, when you want to deviate.
This all sounds incredibly valuable.
It is.
But I'm curious, where does the intuitive stage of trading that we mentioned earlier fit into this?
Right.
Does Douglas talk about that at all?
He does.
Okay.
And it might surprise you to hear that he sees the intuitive stage as a natural outgrowth of developing this probabilistic mindset and mastering those core principles we've been discussing.
So it's not about having some mystical ability to predict the market.
Not at all.
It's about achieving a level of mastery where your actions become almost instinctive.
Yeah.
Based on a deep understanding of the market and your own trading psychology.
And yourself.
You got it.
It's about knowing yourself and knowing the market.
And how you react to the market.
Exactly.
But to understand how that intuitive stage develops, we need to talk about the 3 stages of trader development that Douglas outlines in the book.
All right, let's do it.
Right. Tell me more about these stages.
Okay, so
you were about to tell me about the 3 stages of trader development.
The 3 stages.
That Douglas outlines in Trading in the Zone.
Right.
What are they, and how do they relate to achieving that intuitive trading stage we were talking about?
So the first stage, he calls the mechanical stage.
Okay.
And it might sound a little robotic.
Yeah.
But it's really all about building that solid foundation we've been talking about.
Right.
You know, think of it like learning to play a musical instrument.
Okay.
You start with the basics, you know, scales chords.
Right.
Practicing those fundamental techniques over and over until they become second nature.
So in trading, the mechanical stage is about mastering your system, understanding your edge, and really internalizing those 5 fundamental truths.
So that they become a natural part of your thinking process.
That's
about developing that consistency. In your actions and reactions. So you're not constantly second-guessing yourself.
Right.
Or letting your emotions dictate your trades.
You're not letting your emotions run the show.
Right.
You're in control.
That makes sense.
Right.
So once you've got those foundational elements in place, what's next?
The next stage is what Douglas calls the subjective stage.
Okay.
And this is where things start to get really interesting and potentially a bit tricky.
Okay.
You've got the mechanics down. We're thinking in probabilities.
Right.
It's reacting on your edges. But now you're starting to integrate your own intuition and experience into your decision-making process.
So like you've graduated from playing scales to improvising a jazz solo.
That's a good analogy.
But you still need to have
that underlying knowledge.
You need the foundation
of music theory and technique to guide you.
You can't just go out there and play anything.
Right.
You got to know the rules before you can break them.
So you're starting to trust your instincts a bit more.
You are.
But you're also acutely aware of your own biases.
Your bias.
And tendencies. You're constantly monitoring your internal state, checking for those moments when fear, greed, ego might be creeping in and distorting your perception of the market.
Because those things will mess you up.
This sounds like a stage where self-awareness
is critical.
Is absolutely critical.
Yeah, you have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah, you need to be honest with yourself about your strengths and your weaknesses as a trader.
About what you're good at.
Yeah.
And what you're not so good at.
And this is where I think Douglas's insights into self-sabotage become especially relevant.
This is a big one.
He talks about how like unresolved issues with self-worth, deservingness, and even our beliefs about success can manifest
Just show up
in our trading behavior.
in your trading.
Yeah. We might find ourselves unconsciously making decisions that undermine our own success.
Sabotaging ourselves without even realizing it.
Even when we have a solid system and a good understanding of the market.
Yeah, you can have all the right tools.
Yeah.
And still fail.
If you're not right in the head.
If you're not right in the head.
Yeah.
If you're not mentally prepared.
That's a pretty deep concept.
It is.
It's like we're not just battling the market. We're battling
yourself.
Our own internal demons as well.
Your own inner demons.
Right. And that's why the subjective stage can be so challenging.
It's tough.
It requires a level of honesty and introspection.
A lot of people aren't comfortable with that.
Yeah, that a lot of people aren't comfortable with.
Yeah, they don't want to look in the mirror.
But it's also incredibly rewarding.
It is.
Because it's where you start to really refine your trading style, develop your own unique approach.
You find your own way.
And truly take ownership of your results.
You take responsibility for your own success.
Okay, so we've got the mechanical stage,
right,
where we're building those foundational skills.
The basics.
And the subjective stage.
Yeah.
Where we're integrating our own intuition and experience while managing our inner demons.
Yeah, keeping those demons in check.
What about that elusive intuitive stage
yes.
we were talking about earlier?
Well, the holy grail.
What does that look like?
All right.
So how do we get there?
Douglas describes the intuitive stage as a state of flow.
Okay.
Where your actions in the market become almost effortless.
Okay.
Guided by a deep subconscious understanding of the forces at play.
So it's like you're not even thinking about it.
You're not thinking, you're just doing.
Yeah.
You just know what to do.
Right.
And your trades flow naturally.
Yeah.
From your perception of the market.
That sounds almost mystical.
I know it does.
Like you've achieved some kind of Zen mastery of the market.
It's like you're one with the market.
Right.
You're in the zone.
It can feel that way.
It can.
But it's not about having some supernatural ability.
No, it's not magic.
It's about a gradual process.
It's a process.
Of refinement.
Of refinement.
Of honing your skills.
Honing your skills.
Deepening your self-awareness.
Deepening your self-awareness.
And aligning your actions.
Yeah.
With your beliefs and your understanding of the market.
It's about putting it all together.
It's the culmination of all the work you've done in those earlier stages.
Exactly. It's the final stage of the journey.
So you're saying that this intuitive ability isn't something you can just force.
No, you can't force it.
Or learn overnight.
It takes time.
It emerges organically.
From consistent effort, self-reflection, and a deep engagement with the market.
Exactly. And it's not a destination.
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
And even experienced traders who reach that intuitive stage still have to constantly monitor their mindset, manage their emotions, and refine their approach.
Because the market is always evolving.
The market's always changing. And we as traders have to evolve with it.
Wow, this has been incredibly insightful.
It has.
We've covered so much ground today.
We have.
From those 5 fundamental truths about trading to the 3 stages of trader development.
Right.
And it's clear that MarkDouglas offers a really profound and practical approach.
He does.
To mastering the psychology of trading success.
He's a brilliant guy.
I agree. Trading in the Zone is a book that I think every trader, regardless of their experience level,
even if you're just starting out,
can benefit from.
Or if you've been trading for 20 years.
It's a challenge to conventional thinking.
It is.
A call to self-awareness.
And ultimately, a guide.
A guide.
To achieving greater consistency and fulfillment.
That's what it's all about.
In our trading journey.
In your trading journey.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
I want to encourage all of you listening to explore Trading in the Zone for yourselves.
Write the book.
And see how Douglas's insights can help you navigate the complexities of the market.
It's a complex game.
And ultimately achieve your trading goals.
Achieve your goals.
Until next time, keep learning. Keep growing.
Keep growing.
And remember, the zone is within your reach.
It is.